This next segment we call Going Home. After Sandy, the idea of home has changed. You know, for some, home became a spot on the map that literally no longer exists. For others, home became the temporary place where you lay your head down and await a more hopeful future. And for others still, home remained the place where friends and family gather, even if the shape of that home has changed. We bring you now 3 stories of going home after Sandy. And we begin in Seaside Heights in New Jersey, where one family's return home after 2 weeks away was an emotional experience.
This has been really, really rough, not knowing if he has anything left.
69-year-old Sal has been living with his daughter's family since being evacuated from his home on Sheridan Avenue. He was forced to leave everything behind, but there's really only one sentimental possession he's been hoping to be reunited with, a boat he made in 1973.
I made a boat for my family.
We'll leave it to our children, and it'll always be the boat that Pop made.
After more than an hour wait, the bus arrived to take them to Seaside Heights. On the way, Sal and Sharon looked out the window and gasped at the damage Hurricane Sandy left behind.
Water was coming right up here, right there.
Once in town, the two walked several blocks before finding the street sign to Sheridan Avenue. They turned a corner for the first glimpse of Sal's home.
Holy smokes!
The house was intact, but father and daughter still took a moment before finally making their way inside. Once the door was open, Sharon couldn't contain her joy.
Oh, God, yes!
Oh.
The boat was just as Sal left it, on the mantel with his other antiques and family photographs. In fact, the only damage seems to be a flooded crawl space beneath the first floor.
I'm 69 years old, so this means everything to me.
Although it may be months before Sal can move back home, he and his daughter finally have peace of mind.
This man who has worked so hard didn't lose anything. We are blessed. We're truly blessed.
In Seaside Heights, Natalie Patterson, FiOS 1 News.
Now, for another family, a little hotel room, it has become home. FiOS 1's Jody Goldberg, she tagged along with a Long Island family trying to carry on with ordinary life in very unordinary circumstances.
Like any normal Friday, Lisa Weinstein was up early, making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for her 2 sons, 16-year-old Tyler and 10-year-old Ryan, as well as her husband Randy. But this is the new normal for the Weinsteins. Several weeks ago, this scene would have played out in the kitchen of their Belmore home. But now it's taking place in a single hotel room at the Red Roof Inn in Garden City. A single room the 4 of them have been sharing for more than 2 weeks.
Good morning. Welcome to our home.
The Weinstein family is just one of the thousands of displaced families throughout the tri-state area whose homes are no longer inhabitable because of Superstorm Sandy. Randy and Lisa are just starting to piece their badly damaged home back together.
You know, everything was thrown out of the house, our bedrooms, our beds, the kitchen, the couches, the sofas, you know, all of our carpeting, whatever we had. I ripped out the den as well.
Their ranch-style home sits up against a canal. During the storm, the surge flooded the first floor, ruining virtually everything inside the house.
The waters filled the street that quick, and the house sounded like it was drinking water.
Power has since been restored, but everything now is covered in mold and mildew and has to be thrown out.
Everything on the first floor had to be gone. Whatever touched the water had to be gone.
But the Weinsteins consider themselves lucky because hotel rooms on Long Island are almost impossible to find. Ryan managed to find a silver lining inside this crowded living arrangement.
I always wanted a mini fridge.
But his parents have some difficult choices ahead. They say it may take several months to return back home. Until then, they will have to figure out where to live, staying at the hotel and pay out of pocket after FEMA stops paying, or relying on the kindness of friends until they're able to go home.
You're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. We better get done soon.
Now it's time to drive the kids to school nearly 30 minutes away from home at the hotel, trying their best to get back to the way things used to be, life before Superstorm Sandy. In Garden City, Jody Goldberg, FiOS 1 News.
And finally, we take you to Breezy Point, Queens, where nearly an entire neighborhood has been reduced to rubble and ash. That after Sandy blew through town and lit dozens of houses on fire. But for the residents of this close-knit town, their houses might be gone, but not their home.
We have our 5 kids, and we have our 2 dogs, and we have the family and we have our health and we're going to go pray.
And that's what so many in Breezy Point did, packing St. Thomas More Roman Catholic Church. It was a time for hugs, warm embraces, catching up with neighbors, friends, holding candles together, singing, praying together. A large Catholic community coming together. In a church without power, the fire department supplying some lights. A community looking to heal.
This community here is unique. You know that. Close-knit. You have your own culture here. And certainly a large part of that culture is your faith.
Faith is everything in life. Don't let anyone tell you anything different.
So many of these parishioners had lived here, in this part of the neighborhood that no longer exists. Its former residents now sifting through what remains after a devastating fire. This used to be a pathway to the beach here in Breezy Point. It still is, but now instead of seeing well-maintained homes as you make your way to the water, instead you see rubble and ash. This gentleman was able to unearth his family safe, but it's so waterlogged he can't carry it. Too heavy, so he lets it slowly drain. A child's sand shovel, a reminder of what this used to be known as, a beachfront community. Now, Breezy Point is known for images like these, one of the communities hit hardest by Sandy. Yet amid the destruction, as this community came together to worship, a sign for many, a statue of the Blessed Mother Mary that has become a makeshift memorial. A reminder that as bad as things are, they could be worse.
This is what keeps us going. Our dear, dear friends, and means more to me than my house in a sense. The house is there, can be rebuilt.
The house can be rebuilt, and now when we see each other, we know that's what we're going to do. We're all going to get together and we're going to build this beautiful gift that we had. We're going to rebuild it.
We're going to have to take a quick break now. But when we come back, we're going to break down the economic impact of the storm. Please stick around.